So, so after so you're going about really gonna be like this today.
All right, bye.
There we go. Um, and so as you're wandering about the palace, um, you and effectively, if you want to talk to them, generally speaking, all that you've had to do is find a nice quiet place and then just kind of wait or say something, and one of them would likely show up.
Do I talk to the same one each time, or do I talk to a different one? They all just look like Kendra.
You talk to the same one.
Okay.
She generally is the one that interfaces with you the most, as she's the one that you're the most familiar with. Her or Laird, generally speaking. There it is. About her sister's recent diet choices. And so you is there a specific room that you would want to talk to her in, or just wherever?
Wherever, really. You don't have a specific room I need to talk to them in.
So yeah, we'll say you're in your chambers or your study, and so you wait for a moment, and you as you kind of as you pace for a second, you turn around and boom, there she is. You wanted to speak with me, Connor.
Yes. He kind of shuffles nervously and is obviously not sure how to proceed. Well, seems like Avalon's been destroyed.
She raises an eyebrow. That is, statistically speaking, incredibly. If such a thing did happen, we would have become aware of it.
What if only the physical part of it was destroyed, though?
I would ask that you elaborate.
Elstramari sent me a letter claiming that she is now the Avalon.
Kendra kind of scratches her chin rather puzzledly. That should not be possible. Unless perhaps she unmade the book. Though such a thing is beyond our ken. But that is an interesting and perplexing dilemma. She kind of continues scratching her chin for a moment, like clearly processing a lot of things right now.
But what can actually be done about it?
Truth be told, I'm not entirely sure. The book itself is was rather important. But the essence of what makes it important is certainly still intact. But as if it is as you say, then then the resources that make the tome important are now intact within your half sister.
So what do we do?
Truth be told, I don't think there is anything to do. If she was able to unmake the book, if she's learned the magics that I spoke to you about, the magics of the goddesses, then Avalon has effectively become a part of her. Such a thing cannot be easily undone. And if such a thing were possible, it would be something that only one of an entity on par with the goddesses would be able to accomplish. Someone with that amount of magical prowess. Or perhaps a great amount of luck and precision and skill. But what seems more likely is that that which made up Avalon would be lost, and Alstromeria with it. Such a thing would have dire consequences.
What exactly would happen?
Avalon is intrinsically tied to Arcanon itself. If the book were destroyed, Arcanon would be soon to follow. Essentially, this means that the same can be said about Alstromeria.
That's a problem.
It should not be. If she was in fact successful with bringing Avalon's power into herself, she should be more than capable of ensuring that her demise does not happen.
She's still flesh and blood. And has made a great number of people very angry.
I suppose that does carry with it its own difficulty, yes. But it is imperative that Alstromeria does not perish, or this island will not stay where it is for long. And that is unacceptable. It is imperative that Arcanon persist.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised that if other people found out, they wouldn't try to drop the city by killing her.
It is hard to say for certain. Some may use that as some may wish to use that as a weapon, as doing so would most certainly cripple the entirety of the empire. Some, if they were to learn that, may wish to use such a thing as a weapon, something to leverage against us. But I repeat, such a thing cannot come to pass.
That may very well be out of my ability to stop.
There may be other ways to safeguard Arcanon from such a fate. If such a way exists, I will do what I can to learn it, in case such an eventuality comes to pass. But for the time being, it would be advantageous, not only to you, but but necessary to the survival of this continent and of the human race, to ensure that Alstromeria does not die.
You understand how difficult that is for me, right?
Then it is good that you do not have to work alone in this. As I had mentioned before, we serve the Haven Tree bloodline. If there's anything that we can do to safeguard Alstromeria, then we will do so as well.
Can one of you actually go to her, or
Not at the moment, no. But when and if she inevitably arrives back here in Saldeo, we may be able to make contact, provided we have a sufficient amount of energy to do so.
is there anything else I should know?
I do not believe so, not at the moment. But if there's anything that if there's anything that you need of us, I merely ask that you need only call upon. We have learned nothing in regards to the Magister with which you had spoken of.
Sorry, I didn't catch that last part.
There is nothing to report as far as Millicent Hightower is concerned.
No, I didn't imagine there would be that easily.
Not yet. Though if there is something to report, you will know. Also, if out of character, if you were trying to send one of them to handle a certain mercenary mage, now would be the time to do so as well. If you were choosing one of them instead of one of the
I'm pretty sure Richard was supposed to deal with that on his own, so whatever he had set up is what's going to happen, I guess.
Well, he has had nothing set up yet, so I'm assuming he's going to pay them, which we'll deal with. So and she'll nod her head and she'll exit the door, and when you follow outside of the door, she is no longer there.
Why use the door?
Look, at the end of the day, they're still Legolan. They're still a little extra, okay?
All right.
And shortly thereafter that day, you one of the servants would come and inform you that Miss Jenna Blackwild is here to see you.
All right, let's do this.
And so, after agreeing to see her within a few moments, Jenna comes in, and she's not alone, as with her is also a panda toggle that you do not recognize and a red panda toggle that you do. As she is accompanied by both Rinzu and Neon. And this is after lunchtime, obviously. It was delicious, by the way, Rinzu.
That's great.
That your lunch was good for you.
It was really good. And she bows in curtsies. Prince Connor, it's a privilege to finally meet you. My name is Jenna Blackwile. It's a pleasure, truly.
One of Edward's many grandchildren, right?
Yes. I only hope that I can live up to the grand expectations of Bloodline.
Connor just kind of smiles. He has. Yes, well, to what do I have the pleasure?
Well, as you can see, I just recently had a short visit to the barracks of the Templars down in the Undercity, and after reminding the Templars of the exact wording of a certain contract, I decided to bring who I believe is a mutual friend of the two of ours. She says, looking over at Rinzu with a smile. I've heard a couple of things from my husband about what you were going to be attempting in the next couple of days, and I was wondering if you are willing, in your wisdom, to require the assistance of Miss Rinzu here.
If
If
that's what she wants.
Is that what she wants? Jenna says, looking over to you.
Should nod.
And Jenna claps her hands together. Excellent. It might be good for her to get out of a dusty old room for a little bit, if you understand my meaning.
I completely understand.
Excellent. Then I'll leave her in your peerless care. And she turns to you, Rinzu, and she kind of straightens the shawl on you again and smiles. Be safe, okay? I'll see you when you return. And she'll curtsy once more, and Ninon will give you a warm smile and probably reach out and squeeze your hand before you depart, and she'll also bow deeply to you, Connor, before she leaves, and the two of them will depart.
I'm going to look at this person in front of me.
This person.
Wow.
That's strong words for
No,
Oh my
it is
God.
not a strong word. It is the right word. You and I have something we need to talk about.
Just gonna look at him confused, like.
How do you feel about a short trip out of Arcanon?
Okay. Still kind of confused, like what?
I promise when we get there, you'll understand better. Is there anything else I can get for you right now that you might need?
She thinks for a moment and then just like looks at her wrist again and just like, no.
He kind of frowns when she looks at her wrist, and I'm sorry. There's nothing else I can do with that.
I know.
Anyway, if there's nothing else I can get for you right now, then you should go then.
Lead the way, Your Majesty.
Oh God, don't do that.
I'm going to do that.
That's weird. And I'm gonna take her out of Arcanon and to a house. A manor, some might call it.
And I imagine at the moment, Lynn, you're probably there alone at the moment. Beatrice likely has to be taking care of something that she has as her duty, but you'd be able to summon her if you needed her at whatever point. And so yeah, you travel down to the Undercity, and in short order, you guys make a brief ride, and make your way to the to this nondescript manor in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
gonna have you
alright.
talking anymore. I'm gonna knock on the door.
And would you answer that, or would somebody else answer that? That's up to you.
Voludo.
All right. And so a few moments later, the door opens, and you are greeted with a dapperly dressed man, six arms in a modified butler jacket, as he opens the door, and bowing almost in a wave with his arms once again, it's a pleasure to have you back here once again, Prince Goddard. And who this delectable friend of yours? He says, his multiple eyes blinking.
I just assume you're gonna introduce yourself. Like,
My name is Renzu.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Rin. Please. And he offers to take your jackets. It's very easy for him to take your jackets. He has many arms with which to do so. And so he'll take your coats, and he'll please this, and he will lead you guys inside. And I imagine he'll find you, Lynn, wherever it is that you are at this point.
Probably in an office, frowning at a bunch of paperwork.
So he brings you in, and there's this man in here frowning at a bunch of paperwork, and yeah.
Well, when he sees Voludo and company walk in, he's gonna look up, look down real
Master
quick,
Lynn.
glance back up, and actually take note of who the company is, and stand up. Connor, didn't expect to see you, Prince.
no, I imagine you didn't. But I've recently gotten new company.
I see. And who might?
I'm sure you've heard about Renzu.
Ah! Renzu. I've heard a lot about Renzu.
Ears are just going to be like,
I've heard quite a bit about Renzu. He scratches his head. Well, then I assume you're not here to see me.
No, we're really not actually. Though, obviously, your permission.
Well,
She's so fucking confused.
he's gonna walk up. Sorry, my manners escaped me for a moment. It's nice to meet you finally, Renzu. My name is Lin Winborn. And he extends a hand.
She'll take it.
Alright, well, if you will please follow me this way, I promise you'll like what we have to show you. And he heads through the manor to a certain room.
She's
And,
so fucking confused right now.
But you follow, presumably, yes?
Yeah.
I have other things I need to take care of. No, I'll message you later. I'm gonna leave.
So you, you'll
Dropped off.
leave for a second.
Even more
And,
confusion. Just like, what?
Well, clearly he's selling you back into slavery.
Yeah, we need more equipment, man.
And oh my god. And yeah, Lynn, you get to the room and you open it up, and lo and behold, laying down on the bed, looking a bit worse for wear from the last time you saw him, is Westland. And
Well-
sorry.
He's gonna look at Renzu and brain fart Westland. He's gonna look at Renzu and Westland and alright, well, I imagine you two have some catching up to do. If you need anything, just call out, somebody will show up. Westland, obviously, well, if you need anything, just call. And he just quickly walks away.
And he like looks over at the door as you're talking, and he looks at you, Renzu, with his one unbandaged eye, and just kind of blinks in shock for a minute.
Clench her fists. And Westland Alexander Blackwild, I'd be asking you the same thing.
He kind of winces at the use of his full name intrinsically. Convalescence?
And as she gets closer to the... Oh. Upset. He's actually going to start speaking in Bangronese.
And what are you saying exactly?
I told you not to do anything stupid.
He kind of do you like go towards him? He kind of like flinches a little bit, like.
As she's getting closer, though, there are obvious tears in her fucking eyes.
I didn't mean to. It just happened. I was trying to find something about what you were talking about, anything that might maybe help me help you, and she caught me. That's all there was to it. I'm sorry. jump off of the city, but I kind of had to when my father, when he...
Look him straight in the eye. I was so worried. Thought you were dead.
But by all rights, I should be. I woke up here with of all people. I guess some people from the rebels, they found me. Well, somebody found me, and then they found them, and B's half-brother, and a bunch of other Togwell loggers. I don't really know much more beyond that. I haven't asked. It's hardly my position to start asking about the people who saved my life. I'm sorry I made you worry. I just... I had to find out more about what you were talking about. If that ambassador is up to no good, she... He kind of just looks down with his one good eye. I probably look even worse than I did before, don't I?
She'll laugh at that. I'm just glad you're okay.
Yeah. Me too. I'm glad that you're here. And he'll...
How bad
What's up?
Wait.
Hey,
Okay, go.
He looks pretty beat up. He's he has like there's bandages on the better half of his face, kind of covering where the eye was, and bandages for some of the lesser cuts and bruises are removed. But his one leg definitely is in a splint, and the other one is wrapped up, not broken, but it clearly was sprained at the very least.
Okay, go ahead with everything.
That's pretty much it. And obviously the missing eye is on the side that was not damaged before.
Yeah. Of course it is. She is gonna give him a hug though, like after her saying like she's glad that he's okay.
And his breath kind of hitches in his chest for a second when you kind of come closer, but then the fight or flight kind of fades rather quickly, and he kind of accepts the hug. It moves into it a little bit, but obviously he's a little in pain, so he doesn't move too much. He probably has a couple broken ribs too.
Yeah, she doesn't hug him hard because
Yeah.
he's obviously been through a lot of shit. Like,
Can you do me a favor?
yes.
Well, two things. If sorry. First off, well, I'm down here. I can't really do too much. But I have a feeling that Connor's going to need your help. I know Beatrice is going to be helping him out, and that's good.
I don't
You'll
know who she is.
Probably
She's just
meet
like,
her later.
who?
A
No, she
friend,
looks at him.
a friend from school. She's the half brother to, to the man who brought you here. You can trust her, and think she wants to help Connor. I wish I could help, but well, he kind of gestures down to his legs. It's going to be a little bit.
Just work on getting better, okay?
He nods. And my other favor is that you be safe. Watch out for yourself. I can't do that either. Yet. And from what I saw in the ambassador's room, I wish that I could know what those things were, but
When did you find out?
nothing concrete. But that loom of hers, the big thing, that thread, it looked just like what was on just like what you showed me. I think that might have something to do with it.
It's like, we'll just have to get rid of it then.
Yeah, looks like it. I don't want to lose you again. I've had to do that a few too many times in rather rapid succession here, and I don't want to do that anymore. So careful, okay?
Her ears like flick at that. Don't worry, I'll be careful. I learned a few things over in Zodia, you know?
I'm not surprised. And he smiles and kind of looks down for a minute. And he moves his hand over to the side of the bed.
I guess she's just sitting, like, there's probably a chair, like, right next to her.
Mhm.
She's probably sitting now.
And if there's anything else that you need to say or anything.
Just something along the lines of, like, at least the spirits answered this prayer. And again, like, she'd say that she's glad he's alright.
And he'll, if you are not opposed to it, he would kind of take your hand if you're
Oh no, she's not opposed to that.
if you're around. Well, if the spirits were what was in that tree I hit, maybe we should ask them to be a little bit gentler next time. Oh, hopefully there isn't a next time. I don't really want to make it a habit of leaping off the side of Arcanon. Ow. He kind of
Oh, I think she'd get a good laugh out of that.
and he'll just kind of hold on to your hand, honestly, like,
Yeah,
and just talk.
yeah, yes.
He seems to be a little bit better. As it turns out, he falling and almost dying kind of uh, gets you back into shit, and being saved, and when your life is almost over, it kind of, puts a few things into perspective.
You know.
His eye contact is still a little spotty, and he still obviously has a little bit of the stutter that he had from before, but he seems to be doing a lot better on that regard.
So that honestly makes her really happy.
It may have, at least partially, been because he got to yell at his father, and then almost get killed by his father, but he got to yell at his dad. That probably
I
helped.
think she would have actually talked about that, like, why would you fucking do that?
Basically, what happened is, he would explain, the ambassador found me, her room. She cornered me, confronted me about it. I tried to talk my way out of it, but it wasn't. I got a bad feeling about what was happening, so I drew my blade. It obviously was not a very wise idea. Before long, my father was summoned back, and, well, he took her side. I don't blame him. I panicked, and it looked a lot worse than it was. But of course he did. She spun the story, made it seem like I was trying to kill her. That I was trying to kill Miss Jenna. I was so angry. Just well, the fight spilled out into the streets, and I suppose I was a bit more rusty with that old thing than I thought I was. So he bested me. Not a surprise. He taught me just about everything I know. He knows everything. He he said some very terrible, awful things, and I leapt from the side of the building after he gave me one last parting gift. Says, gesturing up to his face. I was so afraid.
What do you say?
I'd rather not repeat it. But what you'd expect. Man is saved with the son that's failed him in just about every capacity possible at this point. Probably for the best that I've been. Well, I don't imagine he considers me his child anymore. So, at least he doesn't have to worry about me disappointing him anymore. At least there's that. If I ever see him again, I don't think I'll be able to hold back.
Just going to squeeze his hand. I'm sorry.
It's nothing that you should apologize about. Done nothing wrong. Never done it.
There's no reason you're in this mess.
I I don't think that at all.
Just gonna look at him.
If it wasn't for you, then I don't know if I would be the person I am today. I might be that monster that almost hurt you when I came back. I might just be just like my father. But I'm not. I think I'm not.
You're not.
That's the only thing that you've ever done. So if making someone's life better is a bad thing, then I guess you might have to apologize, but I don't think it is. And he smiles, kind of like weakly.
Smile back. The bright smile that he from back. Not the fake shit that she's been like doing like a lot lately.
All these fuckers get fake smiles, but not you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Through that, I imagine, like, he'd probably just ask you just about other stuff that's happened, and kind of maybe ask for you to go into a bit more detail about some of the things that you may have mentioned before when you guys have talked back before the incident and all that.
Yep. Should sit and talk with him about that.
But yeah, as far as that's concerned, he doesn't mind the company, but eventually he probably starts getting a little bit tired.
Yeah, she'll just stay as long as he wants her to.
He'll honestly probably like fall asleep, like just exhausted from the pain and all that, and he'll just fall asleep.
Just gonna stay in here because I don't know anywhere else. Nor do I want to leave. Like, we'll stay here.
And at some point, there's a quiet knock on the door. And the door pops open, and a woman that you've never met peeks her head in, long blonde hair kind of falling about her shoulders, and she waves and she like gestures for you to come out for a second after he's already slept
Yeah.
or fallen asleep.
She'll let go of his hand and actually go up.
And she'll smile as you enter, her hands behind her back, and she says, "You must be Renzu."
Yes, and you are?
She offers a hand. "Beatrice Winborn. It's nice to meet you."
She'll take it.
My brother told me that you were here, so I figured I'd pop in and make sure that everything's fine. Figured you might want something to eat, so I had to prep something for you if you're hungry. I think I got something close to one of your favorites. She says, kind of like fingers, kind of like with one finger up on either side. Obviously, well, we can only do so much, but I think it might be sufficient. I hope. That is, if my memory's as good as I like to pretend it is.
Again, more confusion. Just
Oh, don't worry. She says, like waving, just waving up. I guess it's probably kind of creepy that I know stuff about you, right? Well,
just a little.
well, you'll have to blame Wes.
She raises an eyebrow. Like,
Well, he would never shut up about you back at the academy, for starters. Or here, yeah. Honestly. So every third word he said anytime he was conscious was, "Oh, I hope Rinzu's okay. I hope Rinzu's okay." She giggles. He must really care about you, huh?
Just her tail flicks. She's not going to say anything, but it's just
She kind of elbows you with her shoulder. You're a lucky one. He's quite the catch, he is. But come on, let's go get some food.
going to follow me and just like I'm glad that you can't see that my face because my face is already red. That
And she giggles as she leads the way, and she kind of like walking backwards, like talking to you as she goes. She definitely like bumps into a desk at least once as she's doing that, and like whoop, and make sure that the vase doesn't fall off. And she just kind of as she goes, just kind of in like she introduces herself and kind of goes back over like how they came to do that, and also tells you a bit about what the hell this place is all about. And as she's going, you see a couple of the other Lagus and Togwell that are here, including as when you get to the place with some of the where the food is prepared. You also see that that mysterious Lagus that you had never seen anything like before. That like Antland lady who was in the other cage. And oh yeah, I guess technically we actually met once before. I was the one with the
Nope.
mask.
I never met her. They took us down before we met those people, so I never met her.
She was there later though when she bought the other one. Remember?
Yeah,
I
she
never
saw
her.
you in passing. Like that's about it.
Yeah.
And you'll she'll offer you to sit down, and one of the other servants in the house comes over and brings you a little bit of food, and she gives you a wink and says, "Don't worry, don't worry. Since you're here, I'll let you be the one to bring Wessie his food this time." She smirks.
Just going to cough and well, that was my job, so
And she smirks and says, "Oh, I know."
I don't think Rindu knows how she feels about this.
She giggles again and she says, "Sorry, I it's just it's fun to tease. Old habits die hard, you know."
But yeah, what's this food stuff?
It's pretty good. It's some of your favorite. I don't actually remember what your favorite food is, but it's like pretty close to that. It's not perfect, but it's like almost as good. And of course, um, as you eat it, it's pretty tasty. And and of course, the dish prepared to bring to Westland is of course mac and cheese.
God. Of course it is. It's all he'll ever eat.
It's not all he'll ever eat, but it is his favorite.
It was like all that he would ever eat when he was like a kid.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, yeah, like that's how kids go, man. But yeah, she'll as you after you have that stuff, after a little bit more time kind of goes, and you would have an opportunity to like see and meet some of the others as you kind of go, and she'll smile after she's done, and well, I have a couple of other things that I have to take care of back at my own big fancy manor, so I suppose I'll probably be seeing you sooner rather than later, eh? Take care of Wes for me, all right?
Ken shall nod. Just
And she'll smile once more, and she'll kind of wave, and then she'll spin on her heel and see you around, and she'll depart.
wave. Just gonna go back to fucking Weston's room because what the fuck does he know?
You were like the most paranoid.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing.
And so yeah, you'll go back to Westland, and at some point he'll wake up. Once you and yeah, I mean, he wakes up and sorry, I fell asleep. Didn't. Oh, is that for me? Thank you. I guess I should probably try and eat some. Are you like? Do you have a face right now?
Kind of.
Did something happen, Rinsu?
I met Beatrice.
Oh. Um. Did she stop by? I don't. I'm sorry. I missed her.
She seemed to know an awful lot about me.
Uh. Yes. I suppose I did. Bring you up a lot back at the academy.
What does she know?
What does she know about you? Just nothing. Well, nothing. Just basic things. Just stories about when we were younger, and she's pretty keen about stuff like.
Looking at him concerned.
She's not gonna tell. Don't worry. You can trust her. If she did figure out anything about, well, that about, you know. She won't. She's a friend. She won't do anything like that. He
Cross arms at him.
he kind of blushes a little bit and like avoids eye contact. I look. She's really kind of usually has a way to get you to talk about things that you want to talk about. So
So she knows.
Not explicitly, but probably. Most likely. Sorry. We were rather close. We spoke a lot.
There's going to be another tail flick.
Uh, I, what's wrong, Renzu? Look, I'm sorry. What I know I shouldn't have talked about you, but wait, you don't think that Rinzu, are you j- are you getting jealous of her? No. I we I this is well, I'm going to shut up now. And he's going to just kind of grab the plate and just kind of start. He winces. Are you just glaring at him?
She might be muttering some things under her breath that, like, she probably wouldn't be.
What all you're muttering? Sorry, that didn't go on with her.
Just muttering.
Thank you for the food, Renzu.
Good, I'm glad you liked it. Still pouty.
If I I'm not really sure what I can say. I know that it was stupid.
Think. was a secret and you told some girl. This is all in Fangrani, because if somebody overhears this,
It is at this moment there is a very, very soft knock. Almost can't hear it.
And as that happens, he says, Rinzu, she promised she wasn't just some girl. We were. And then the knock happens. Come in.
Instead of coming in, he just talks through the door. Do you two need anything?
A way out. No, just kidding.
Water? Food? You been in there?
We're okay. Thank you.
Alright, just let somebody know if you need anything. And just kind of trails off and you hear Power walking away again.
Rinzu, there's. I promise that you can trust her, really. And I'm. We're not. We're not a. She understands. And there's not really an easy way to say this, but well, we spent time together during the academy. It was just, that was before. We already spoke at length a while ago. It's not anything anymore. Promise. I just. I didn't. I wasn't even the one that wanted a part of it. It was just that, well, she and the others, they. Rinzu, nothing I can say can really. I'll understand if you.
I didn't hear that last part, it cut out.
I'll understand if you want to leave. I just. It's just another thing to add to the list of things that I've done to hurt you.
going to sigh.
Listen, if you you don't hate me, which honestly you should, I, still everything that I've done, but I'll make it up. I just I've
You what?
it seems I've made a bit of a habit of hurting you. That's what I was afraid of. That's why I've been trying to help. All I've done for the last year or so has hurt you.
Just going to look at him.
He winces a little bit.
You're really bad at this.
Uh, at what?
Just dug yourself in the deepest hole.
He winces again. I never stopped caring about you. Once. That's the one thing that say. That's worth anything more.
So, tap her, like, chin for a second. Look like she's thinking. It does, but you're still going to have to make it up to me.
I will. I will. It's a bit hard now at the moment. He says, kind of gesturing down to his legs again. But once this is all over, I will.
Good.
And he'll offer another smile. An awkward one, but a smile nonetheless.
gonna go up to him and flick him in the head.
Ow! Careful.
Oh, she wouldn't have hit him anywhere where like there was wrapped band-aids.
Yes, that's the least I earned.
Really need to learn how to talk to ladies.
Used to be a lot better at this. You wouldn't mind if I, well, practiced a bit with you?
She blushes a little, but then she's like, I don't know. Maybe.
Then maybe it won't have to be practiced? Perhaps? If that's, still alright.
It's just like when we were teenagers. You're hopeless.
Yes, I suppose so. And I think that's a good place to end it.
So bad at this. So
He's-
fucking bad.
He's delightfully awkward.
So awkward.
Well, he's certainly awkward. You got that right.
Oh, he just dug himself into a huge hole, and I was just like, I can't get him out of this. He just dug it deeper.
It's okay.
There's no helping him.
There is no
Chances-
helping him.
I
He's
mean,
hopeless.
to be fair, he did leap off of a floating city. Like the hole when he landed was bound to be a bit deep.
Yeah, he's just adding to it.
Yeah, no, he took a shovel and now he's just digging it deeper.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Look.
how do I say all of the wrong things?
Yup. Hey, you know what though? He knows he's an idiot, and he fucked up, and now it's moving forward.
She's such an idiot.
So
She would
Connor.
have told him that.
Oh, yeah, please.
Fucking idiot.
So Connor, what's your next move here? Over the course of the next couple of days.
Remember, I still want to talk to the bishops.
Oh yeah, I guess we could probably do that real quick.
Yeah, you could definitely do that while I
Yeah, while you plan what the fuck you're gonna do next. And yeah, let me yeah, it would be a few days after the meeting you'd be able to get a meeting. All right, and I do not have pictures for all of them or any of them, but I can briefly describe them. I just have to pull up the document real quick with all of their names on it. I'll go. So yeah, you'd be able to get a meeting with them. Was there anybody else that would be present, as far as anybody of note, or just you?
Don't really know of anyone else who would care.
Yeah, I mean, unless you wanted to bring like one of the other magisters or something, or one of the other PCs,
Go ahead, bring your fucking sister at this point.
or Leon. I don't know. It's up to you, or
You know,
just yourself, either one.
If I were to bring one, I'd bring one who is as conservative as I am.
Leon, or your sister.
Yeah, Leon. Leon is definitely the religious one.
Okay, so I'd bring Leon with possible.
Excellent. It will be a great privilege to accompany this day. And so you would be able to meet with them in the Grand Cathedral in the lower city. massive cathedral with towering windows and such. All stained glass, depicting some of the most the biggest and most famous scenes from the Ash Codex as you go through. And a place you've obviously been a lot. And
Once or twice.
yeah, once or twice. And so you're led into a grand meeting hall with enough seats for anybody else who's there. And as you go in, the five archbishops are there waiting for you. Sitting at the center of the five is the Archbishop of Ashling. She is a woman with long kind of a sandy blonde hair, tied up in buns beneath her headdress. And ornate jewels and garbs of red and white that kind of drape down and across her body. Her name is Ashley Hartwick, and she's the Archbishop of that. And yeah, basically that is a good point. That brings up Ashley is a pretty popular name because Ashley is definitely like a romanization of Ashling, like, so it is a pretty popular name. So basically her name is kind of the equivalent of Jesus. Like, you get that a lot. Representing Arlen is actually you expected to see Gideon Crestworth, a man of near age to yourself. Hard facial features and graying hair that was once red. However, he is not the one here. In his stead is a much younger man that who seems to be in every sense almost a younger version of Gideon, whom you would know this individual as Carter Crestworth, who's one of the higher bishops, who appears to be sitting in for Gideon. In this particular instance, but he has short, bright red hair, very curly and messy. Though everything else about his outfit is completely on point. On the opposite side, or next to him at the fifth seat, is the Archbishop of Kiva, a woman by the name of Naomi Windburn. She is a one of the youngest of the archbishops, and she is bright aqua blue hair, and it's in a long braid that goes down her back. Her robes in a mixture of blues, greens, and whites. Next to the brilliant white and gold of Arlen and the red, gold, and white of Ashling. On the opposite side is the Archbishop of Maeve, clad in black and gold robes. Is the Archbishop of Maeve, a woman by the name of Julia Whitewood. She has short-cut, jet black hair, and a stern look on her face. And last but not least is the gatekeeper, the Archbishop of Driston, the portly man that I had described before during Connor's thing. His body completely obscured by black and violet robes, and his face obscured by chains that hang down from the top of his robe, completely concealing, almost as if as a veil, completely obscuring any of the facial features. And yeah, they welcome you in, and Leon bows deeply as he goes in. Thank you all for for inviting me to this grand meeting. It is a privilege to stand before the representatives of our gods and goddesses of the 3 and 5.
I will follow suit with the bowing. Any religious signs that are
Yeah.
appropriate.
And yeah, they nod, and Ashley Hartwick gestures to the Archbishop Hartwick gestures to the seats ahead of her with a nod and says, "Please take a seat. It's good to see you safe at home, hale and hearty, Sir Hightower, or Lord Hightower, rather. And a privilege as always, Magister." And as you take a seat, Maeve Archbishop Bishop Whitewood, she let us cut to the quick of things. You summoned us here before you, yes, Lord Hightower. What is it that you wish to speak of?
Have you heard or read any of the reports from Zodia?
She raises an eyebrow, and she says, only those that that Magister Millicent has offered to us, yes.
Have any of those included the fact that dragons have returned?
There's a bit of silence over the crowd for a moment, and Leon looks at you also in a bit of a surprise. That seems rather preposterous. How is such a thing possible? The dragons have been gone for nigh on 2,000 years now.
I myself believed it impossible. However, I have seen one with my own eyes, 2 as a matter of fact, and heard reports of a 3rd. Be it the last one, a necro dragon, a giant zombie, brought to life by one of the other 2.
By all that is holy, Archbishop Crestworth of Arlen says, how is such a thing possible? Truly.
I admit, I don't know. But they were there. Now, you may ask any of the soldiers who saw them, Prince Connor. What would Richard's actual title be?
Captain Dunade.
Captain Dunade. All who were present there. That there were indeed 2 dragon girls present in Zodia. Now, we believe, or we hope at the very least, that's where they will stay. Knowing dragons, I believe we must prepare ourselves.
The archbishops kind of whisper amongst themselves for a moment, and the blue-haired Archbishop of Kiva, these dragons, what was their intentions, Zodia? What were they doing?
Well, one of them was trying to gain the ear or the influence of the crown prince. From what I hear now, is he king or emperor?
King. His coronation would have been is around now, actually.
So we wouldn't have heard about it yet.
But would we know we know that he was to be coronated.
They were working on that, yeah, and his coronation was announced before you guys left.
I believe at this point, King Orion. I believe she was she a personal bodyguard or advisor?
Yep.
She was she was a bodyguard of the now king. My only guess is that she could have access to the throne, the power, the prestige. I believe that they are plotting. Just imagine the terrors that could be wrought with a dragon manipulating Zodia. For that matter, she was also quite close to the rebel leader Astromeria. Perhaps the dragons are trying to gain an influence, are already trying to gain an influence on our continent through the rebels. Still whispering? What's going on here?
They like listen as you whenever you speak, and Archbishop Hartwick of Ashling, she raises a hand to kind of silence the whispers. But Lord Hightower, do you have proof of any of this?
Unfortunately, I don't have, because there's no such thing as pictures or.
No.
So all I would have is first-hand accounts.
And I understand that while I certainly believe you, as unlikely as I believed it to be.
If possible, Eric, I'd also have signed affidavits, soldiers, individuals.
That's fair, yeah.
Of high enough rank who might be persuasive.
And at least two mages that came back with you guys as well. As much as as hard as it is for me to believe that dragons have returned, that much I believe. But she kind of shakes her head. To think that they would. Do you truly believe that they are seeking to create an ally out of the rebellion? That they through Zodia are trying to accomplish something on a grander scale? If that is true, we'll have a problem much greater than any potential civil war that may be brewing amidst our own people.
I will not claim to understand the inner workings of a dragon's mind. What I will, however, stand by is this, and I pull out, like a personal Bible, one of those.
Yeah.
And it is our Lord Ashling's word that dragons are, I assume, essentially the devil. Correct?
Yeah, they're basically serve the same.
They are demons, devils. One thing that I heard as a constant refrain from individuals in Zodia that ran chills down my spine every time I heard it. And it was almost constant. You are not what I expected. I can't believe that a terrifying monster would be so sweet. That is how they will, what is the word? Infiltrate us. They will use not the sword, not the whip, but honeyed word. And they will say the greatest lie of all. We come, peace. We must have strength, and we will achieve this strength through unity. And I believe we will get this unity through faith in each other and in the goddess.
Okay, Edward, I'm gonna have to have you make a charm check.
Difficulty.
It is gonna be against difficulty 3.
Okay.
You're going to add 1 boost dice, 2, 3, 4 boost dice.
What is
Uh,
charm persuasion?
Story point reset.
Oh yeah.
Please. At the
How
same
many
time,
people?
this
Let's
is
see. We have.
fantastic.
This is fucking hilarious.
I
I'm gonna.
will- Go on.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend 1 to upgrade the difficulty because I need a chance for despair here.
I'm going to upgrade my check.
Nice. And yeah, go ahead and add 1 setback dice because of the absurdity of it all. But and by the way, if you want, once per session, your character may spend a story point to use your intellect instead of your charm ranks if you wanted to do that.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
That's gonna use that. Using that.
So instead of upgrading it once, you'll actually technically upgrade it 5 times. Or no. Basically it'll be 2 gold and 3 green is what your things will be.
Okay. And you
This
said
is
it's 3
amazing.
difficulty.
Yeah, 3 difficulty, 1 setback, and 4 boosts.
Okay.
Successes with advantage. And so the listening to your words, there's silence for a second as they kind of look to each other and they kind of look for a moment and we've heard your words, Lord Hightower, Archbishop Hardwick says. And I believe that I speak for all of us when I say that if such a thing is possible, we must be prepared for the worst. I will inform the Templars of this newest complication. And I will ensure that I will ensure to do what I can to make sure that all of our priesthood are aware of this possibility. And Carter, the Archbishop of Arlen, or the acting Archbishop, Cressworth nods and says, "I will do the same. If such a thing is possible, I believe my father would agree. This is the best course of action. Provided he's able to respond, I'll do what I can to confirm with him that this is what he wishes." Naomi nods and she shakes her head and says, "Don't want to believe that such a thing could be possible. That the creatures of the holy text could come back for revenge. But if it is, we will need to make sure that we know." And Archbishop Whitewood says, "And should they wish to contest with us, we shall be ready in force. The Templars will be prepared, and they will not find us wanting." The gatekeeper nods from beneath his chain veil and says, "I believe it might be wise of us to do some more digging into what these creatures, what their goals are, both outwardly and beneath. His Highness Prince Connor spent much time at our church not but a few days before. When next I have the opportunity, I will ask him what he thinks. If he did speak to them, or if he did speak and gain measure of these dragons, be very. I will be much more interested to hear what he has to say about this as well." And Leon nods and says that he didn't bring such a matter to us. That he did not bring a matter to This matter to the magistrate itself does not bode well. And yet, if your sister knew of it too, I must wonder what reason she had not to bring such an important thing to all of us. He shakes his head. Nevertheless, I will see to it that our spies do what they can to learn. And if they are coming here to, if the dragons are coming here to Lagala, we will know. And by Atlas light, I will not let them harm us. Thank you, Lord Hightower, for bringing this out to all of the archbishops and to me.
I am merely a servant goddess.
Did you fucking tell him that?
Yes.
Yeah, still
Er-
yeah.
What was that?
You know that I'll straight Avalon as well.
Oh, yeah, and I will mention that. I will mention. Yes.
Oh yeah, just casually mention that.
Oh no, not casually. One final thing. Would it archbishops or just lord bishops? How would that? their
Just
honor?
your holiness is, or your radiance is, or anything like that.
Okay, your holiness. One final matter. I believe needs to be addressed. I have recently been informed that Alstramaria has claimed to devour or absorbed. How would it have been phrased better?
Probably absorbed.
Okay, absorbed the holy texts, Avalar.
There's a gasp across the whole fucking. That's impossible. Leon says.
I would normally agree, but if the devils are coming back to say what's possible.
So the rebels found the text this whole time, and they sent it to the former princess, and she destroyed it.
I don't believe that's quite accurate. Again, it sounds as though she has absorbed the knowledge, power, essence of the text.
Archbishop of Ashling shakes her head. This bodes ill.
Dark days.
That the dragons returned, and the very beacon that our prince needs to guide us vanishes before our very hands, into the hands of one who would see all of our people crumble.
And for all we know, individual beings that persuaded or even had the knowledge to do this may have been the dragons themselves. Perhaps they're behind. They're imprisoning the knowledge in a mortal vessel, and they may intend to use her as a hostage for the faith. Perhaps they're the ones who are manipulating her into doing this. I have no knowledge of how Avalar could be unmade.
Can I
Perhaps
have
they
you
do.
make? Can I have you make another charm check?
Sure.
It's gonna be against the same difficulty. I'm
Okay.
upgrading it again. You'll have the 4 boost dice. This time you're gonna have 2 setback dice. But you don't get the. You obviously don't get to use your brilliant ability.
I will upgrade mine as well, though. And anything else?
That looks good. Success.
Straight success.
How is it only against one red? Oh, okay, I see. He just put everything together weirdly.
Yeah.
I did.
This is troubling indeed. I will ensure that the leadership amongst us knows, and we will have to accommodate for this situation. If and Leon shakes his head, looking furious. I will ensure that the rest of the magistrate knows. We will need to make accommodations.
And Leon, don't hold that last bit against my sister. We only recently found out ourselves. Nor Connor, for that matter. I have no doubt that he was going to tell everyone in time.
Yes,
As
perhaps.
I say, we just learned about this.
And yet, the presence of these dragons concerns me greatly. I will have to meditate on this. But we will persevere. We always do. May we burn bright, even if the shadows descend upon us. And the archbishops echo the sentiment, and they will stand and will begin to excuse themselves after you and Leon do. Leon looks perturbed, by the way, not at you, but at life. Like he's kind of like tapping his arm, kind of is doing a bit more pacing than he normally would be.
I get it.
And yeah, so that's gonna slowly make its way around the around those who need to know, which will then echo down towards the people who don't need to know.
Well,
yeah.
that's how it usually goes.
And so yeah, what were you doing next, Connor?
Screaming into the abyss, mostly.
Because all that's probably not going to come to pass until once you guys get back, and then it's going to be like, hey, by the way, we heard a couple things. Can we talk to you for a minute?
All right. Well, first of all, I'm going to find a hole.
Hey, Westland has one.
Yeah, I'm going to find the crater that Westland fell into, and I'm going to bury Edward there. No, I need to get together with every person who has information ever on Rebels and figure out what we know about Etney.
So probably a meeting at the at Lynn's estate then, right?
But, I mean, is Lynn the only person who has information on Rebels? I feel like I have spy masters that should know things.
Well, yeah, but effectively, I'm going to let you roll, and you'll be able to. I'll tell you like what they already tell you. But he also might have found out things. So Speaking of which, Lynn, can you make a streetwise check for me? What I would ask you, Lynn, about what information are you trying to look up right now, and what would you have been, or what avenues have you taken to try and find it?
For Etney, uh, honestly, I would just be going down the normal contact avenues that I have to discover any slavers in the first place. So the people I'd normally talk to, who's been moving where, what's been going.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead and make a streetwise check against 3 difficulty.
How much gold do I have?
You have currently 100 and, or do you have sound investment, don't you?
I
Yeah, you
do.
So you actually have. You should have 325.
I'm guessing that's not enough to buy the information I want.
Well, you can use bot info, but that's just for knowledge checks specifically. So you can use that. You can use that for not for basically. You can use that in conjunction, like after the streetwise check. The streetwise check is to go and figure out what you can learn. The
Gotcha.
bot info check, it would be later if you make a knowledge underworld check to supplement that.
Channeling my inner James. Boost that because I talk to these people a lot.
I would normally say yes, but you're looking for different information, so no.
Alright, so 3 difficulty.
And I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade the difficulty once because of a couple of things. Namely, some of the contacts that you have might also have contacts with the rebellion. So if you're digging into information about Etney, some of them might know about it.
Mm.
So unfortunately, as you go about your normal avenues, most of them have information on like they give you what little information they have based on current possible venues of things that could be done elsewise. But if you ask more information into like trying to learn about where Etney might be or where she's moving, they would not really have too much information. Um, as far as things are concerned, most of them, the best they could give you is probably something fighting the war that that she's knee deep into right now, or something along that line. They don't really have much information that would be of useful use to you.
I mean, what else could possibly hurt us at this point?
Yeah, like it's nothing else really. Like that's the
Oh
best
no,
that you
I was considering doing something else. To one of whichever contacts I'm talking with,
Mhm.
I would tell them I'm looking to pass along a message about one of the Magisters. And possibly Connor himself.
So effectively trying to
I'm trying to schedule a meeting.
schedule a meeting between
Me and Eddie.
you and Etney. And you're saying that it's because one of the Magisters.
No, I'm saying it would concern the Magisters.
Okay.
Because it's also been recently brought to my attention that Blackwild has slaves, and I don't like.
Okay. Go ahead and make a second streetwise check, but this one is going to be against 2 red and 1 purple. All right. So one of the people that you're with, pretty much shrugs and says, "Look, if you're trying to do something involving, if you're getting that deep into this, you'll 9 times out of 10, if you head straight into that the neutral zone kept by the Peacekeeper Corps, you'll be able to find it before too long. Any other information about her movements and whereabouts? They've gotten pretty good at keeping down low. When she leaves, no one knows where she goes. If you ask me, chances are her people have gotten rather good at hiding their movements in case any of those neutral folk are keeping tabs on her movements. But I know she's spent a hell of a lot of time out there. Makes you wonder, eh?
Well, worth a shot. If nothing comes of it, then I'll try to figure out how to deal with it myself.
Yeah, good luck.
And while I'm here, what do you know about Black Wilds?
Go ahead and make another streetwise check. This one's against 4 difficulty. No upgrades though. Blackwild, really? I mean, just what everybody has. They've got a pension for having all sorts of contracts with loggers who talk well. Most of their servants are loggers who talk well. Anything else besides the fact that he's a magister now, and he's one of the richest men in Legala, thanks to a series of fortuitous marriages? Nothing that I can really get you any more info on.
He lets out a sigh.
What? It's not like I have every answer for you, bud.
I know, and he raises his hands. Alright, let's change the question a bit. Can you point me into the direction of somebody who would be more well versed in the comings and goings of the house?
Only idiots. It ain't safe. It ain't safe digging too deep into folks that have a lot of money. Most folk that try and do that either turn coat or disappear. Can't really direct you towards much of anything.
Well, I guess I get to keep doing this the hard way. Thanks anyways.
Yeah. Good hunting.
Always
Some
do.
shadowy guy. And yeah. So yeah, that's about all the information that you'd really be able to gather before the meeting where you'd be talking shop with Connor and anybody else who would be going.
Take the nice long way home.
Of course, yeah, that goes without saying. And yeah. As far as Connor, as far as other pieces, what kind of things would you be looking to learn from the I can't remember Daisy's last name.
Cunningham?
From the
Still on
Cunninghams.
the nose.
I know. I forgot. I'm sorry. What else were you looking to try and learn specifically?
Specifically, I just need pretty much like troop movements we've had like sightings, where she's been, what what we know she's been up to, like stuff like the general information that you get to get a good picture of where.
Okay. Generally speaking, which I will pull this up real quick. You know that one of the I need to get the updated map up on here. This will do for today. A lot of the sons and daughters have pretty much have pretty seriously mustered in the Eastern Ocean and have controlled a lot of the ports around there. The neutral faction or the neutral zone, it kind of covers a large variety of places. And at the moment, it's kind of in various pockets. Like the area around Brimrad down here is covered. There's a little bit in some of the tips of the Western faction, but a large amount of it crests up and around the East faction. That said, most of Legala is not covered under their purview, though the Peacekeeper Corps does move from time to time. They've been covering a lot of the population centers. You know that one of the main cities that has been very difficult to have any sort of loyalist presence in was one of the larger cities towards one of the larger cities in the Eastern faction. Let me make sure I get this right. Right near Dalhurst, which is where the that place is. Dalhurst itself is not very large, but it's at the center of a bunch of small population centers. That has kind of almost turned itself into a terrifyingly effective network that they have been able to use to disappear into. So kind of a series of well-hidden population centers that they can kind of duck and cover into. And so whenever one of the small towns near Dalhurst is taken, they'll retreat to another one until they can take that one back. And largely that's been a big issue, is these small cities and towns are not very far away from each other, and so it's made it difficult to occupy any of them. Etney and the sons and daughters have kind of turned that into a sort of a forward operations base that's been rather fluid and able to be moved around as they want. And it's also not that far from where some of the Peacekeeper Corps is located. In some of the port towns to the south is where a lot of their stuff has been taken care of. And so she's been spotted in where a lot of where any skirmishes are. She is sometimes seen at those skirmishes, but they have gotten really, really good at getting Etney and her people where they need to be without attracting very much attention. Daisy suspects that it's because of a combination of a support network of sympathizers, in addition to the fact that keeping information flowing is really hard, because one of the subgroups of the Sons and Daughters of New Legala, who called themselves the Rabble, have made themselves rather efficient at keeping information by the balls. All information and all messages have to be sent by effectively but with armed couriers, and even then the messengers are sometimes intercepted, either by quick hit and runs or by other means. But so it's kind of a combination of several factors that have made it hard to track her down. That said, she's also gotten pretty good at appearing where she needs to appear. And so if one were to draw her out with a suitably important skirmish, or with some sort of prize that was sufficient to draw her out, or if one were to go and just knock on some doors, one might be able to find her. She herself is not particularly stealthy, so she's definitely getting help from this. As far as that's concerned. Besides that, she has made many appearances in the neutral zone, as reports have made. And in fact, that's one of the only places that she is ever seen publicly, without a specific reason. So, like, unless she's making a speech or appearing for a skirmish of some kind, which she does do a lot of.
So she's mostly appeared where like fighting is then.
Yes, we're fighting. Basically, the three things that have worked: fighting, speeches, or the neutral zone. Those are effectively the three things that have drawn her out the most.
And do we have any idea of when those speeches are going to happen? I assume otherwise we would have tried to corner her at those.
The information on those speeches is difficult to find. You oftentimes know about them, but they are by the time that they happen, sometimes the locations are hidden. Sometimes there are spoof locations, and other times there are, and at other times they are prepared for a skirmish. Or there's just so many people there that a skirmish would cause a lot of collateral damage. Or those speeches occur in areas close to or in the neutral zone, the Peacekeeper Brigade controlled areas, or Peacekeeper Corps. And if anybody else has questions as to this, we can effectively say that this is during a big brief discussion, which I'm assuming all the PCs, maybe Edward, probably not Edward, would be there, unless you met at another location outside of the. Because you could also meet at the Windborn Manor as well, which is in the main Undercity, which is decidedly not a stopover for escaped Toggle and Lagoos. So that could be a safe spot to discuss this if you guys want to.
Yeah, that would, like, as long as that's okay with them, I wouldn't have an issue with doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to ask the lady of the house, and Beatrice is fine with it. So yeah, you would go to the to that place, and that could be where we'll discuss this. And Rinzu, I imagine you're going to be here as well.
Yeah.
And so yeah, if you guys have other questions about any information here, this is kind of where I can answer them as well.
Well, I guess one of them is, have we ever been able to successfully draw her anywhere?
Yes. There have been a couple of times that you have that you've been able to draw her into a skirmish. But none of them have been able to successfully. They've either ended they've usually ended up in draws where no side really decidedly wins, or they retreat and it's a loyalist victory, but they retreat and she also retreats, or it's a success. You've never been able to capture her. During the false time when your aunt was captured, it was a false leak of information that was led through secure channels. They were somehow able to get that information through. Daisy's still looking into how that false information made its way through without double checking anything, or with all of the checks and balances that she has to make sure that something like this doesn't happen. But they were able to do so. She's still trying to backwards check the exact how such possible. But that proved to be false, obviously. And she was not present. Instead, it was a big trap.
So we could feed them false information then.
You could attempt to do that, yes. There's no guarantee that she would bite. Oftentimes, they're often well informed because of the efforts of this rabble. But if you were able to close enough channels, and basically if you were able to succeed on the checks, you would be able to possibly feed false information. And depending on what that information was, you may be able to draw her out into something. But it would very much rely on what that information was, and yeah, kind of.
So our biggest problem first is figuring out how to separate her.
Well, she is a military leader, Beatrice says. Separating her from the people she's leading won't be easy. Honestly, I don't really see how it's possible unless you have some sort of convoluted trap.
We just need to get at least a small enough group away from her, or her and a small enough group away from the others.
I was doing some digging around, and I attempted to schedule a meeting.
Hmm. And how exactly did you go about that? Like, what were you saying?
He clears his throat and looks towards Renzu for a second and back to you. Well, I more or less told her I was, or rather, I told a source who I'm sure will get back to her in some way or another, that I was looking to talk to her about Blackwild and his slaves.
I fear that's too especially common information.
Well, more accurately, I would like to do something about it. And given our track record, I'm hoping that will at least be enough to pique her interest.
Well, I think the first thing that we need to decide is how exactly are we looking to go about this? Because if we're looking to go in guns blazing and fighting, that's a very different situation than if we're going to be going into this more peaceful situation. But we all need to get on the same page about what we're trying to do. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that trying to match her blow for blow is going to work, especially not with the resources we have.
No, I completely agree. Going in and to a fight with her isn't. We're not going to win. And even if we could win in that fight, she would be able to escape. They're not going to let their leader be captured. Which leads us to having to spring some sort of trap on her.
Do you have something in mind for that?
Vague ideas. I don't have anything solid. We could
Well,
plant rumors about where I might be and see if she bites. We can start a skirmish and see if we can lead her away.
she's already captured the leader of the Dark Flyers. We use that to our advantage.
As a
I
parlay.
imagine meeting with a parlay is one thing, but if you're trying to capture her, that's not really a very easy way to turn that towards our advantage.
Lynn frowns and leans back. Do we even have the resources to trap her?
But assuming that Anna Shieldheart is here as well.
Yeah.
Well, we might not. But my father might.
Be a very easy stopover.
Well, it's perchance just an idea, but from what I understand, I've inquired as to what he's up to. He's stationed outside of Dalhurst. It's where the sons and daughters have brought a lot of locations out up to. He's not, but maybe he's maybe 100, maybe 200 miles at the most from the border of the of where the Peacekeeper Corps under Sir Orwell or Orville is being taken. Whoops. Uh, is staged at. It's possible that if we wanted to create a skirmish, we could try and convince him to move on Dalhurst. He's received no formal order from the magistrate to do so, but he does not necessarily need to.
What if we tried to arrange a meeting with her to negotiate for the return of my aunt?
That is an idea. I don't know exactly how it'll work, but it's definitely an idea. Well, I mean, one of the best ways might just be to. She spent time in the Peacekeeper Corps areas, right? I mean, could always have that as a meeting ground. Unless we drew in with some other kind of spectacle. Somewhere else, somewhere that, if you're concerned that our people might have too much influence there, we could always meet somewhere else, somewhere where the fighting hasn't been as severe.
I don't imagine her willingly coming to meet with him without enough guards to get her out if it is in fact a trap.
No, she wouldn't be that stupid. But what if we arrange said meeting and perhaps there's a leak of information on the route I'll be taking? See if that
And
draws them in.
and hope that they would make the first move and that we'd be ready to turn on them.
Connor just nods.
All right, not a bad plan, Anna says. But what if they don't bite?
Then we just continue on to the meeting.
Fair enough.
At the end of this, we can't make any moves that makes us look like the monsters or the aggressors. Losing any more support from the populace on our end is going to be rather devastating.
In which case, this meeting has to remain just a meeting. Unless she decides to attack during the meeting.
That would be the short of it. Which means we'll have to find alternate routes towards other agendas then.
Might be safer that way. Thought. Well, you are the crown prince, and you are returning from being gone for some time, right? What if we use that as potentially a cover for this meeting? Maybe throw some kind of celebration at somewhere. Where?
But where would I celebrate that outside of Arcanon?
Well, if you're trying to draw attention, could be one way to do it. I don't know exactly where. There's plenty of places.
There are other places, but why would the Magisters agree to let me celebrate in any other place than Arcanon? Not to mention the fact that it is my home.
I guess that's true. Well, we could always try and invite her here. That's probably not going to work.
I give her the most appalled look possible.
Connor just kind of smiles and is like, no, I don't think that'll work.